everybody! So, as you can see, I'm in a completely different place now. I'm home! Yay! The light is coming from a completely different side of the room. Everything is topsy-turvy. It's very confusing. But anyway, so, as you can see, like I said, wardrobe. I don't have any plain walls. One day I might do a bit of a tour around my room or something, I don't know. But anyway, for now, let's go on to the subject of today's video. The feels formula. Now, my friend called it that. I'll explain why in a bit. Now, if you know a fangirl like me or a fanboy, often we will mention feels or feelings. Obviously, that's what it's short for. This usually occurs when their fandom, see my previous video, causes them emotional pain, which usually causes them to go. It certainly causes me to do that. Now, I've devised a bit of a sort of a scale, and obviously it's my personal scale. This isn't going to be universal for all people in all fandoms, because not all people are part of the same fandoms, and not all people find the same things. You know what I mean. But as I said, my friend dubbed it the formula, even though it's more of a scale, because if you used it in an algebraic format, yeah, I know maths, totally. If you used it as an algebraic formula, it probably would work. So, yeah, I'll give you an example later. So here it is. My scale from 1 to 10, 1 being, deal with it, cool, to 10, which is, oh my god, I'm dying, why would you do this to me? Which I often feel when I'm watching Supernatural. I did that about 5 times last night while I was watching it. The scale of pain. Okay, so I sort of called it the scale of pain for obvious reasons. Number 1, it doesn't usually hurt you too much, it's something a little bit. Sometimes it can be good feels. There are good feels. There are a lot of good feels. Don't ask. I'll probably do another whole other video on types of feels. But this one, number 1, is OTP. Which is another thing I'll do another video on. But an OTP that probably isn't canon, but feels to do with that OTP. So, say, Destiel feels, or Mertha feels, or something, that sort of thing. It's usually like you see a cute picture on Tumblr, or a really nice fan fiction, which is just you start squealing and making strange little mewling noises and going, so cute! But sometimes, of course, there are the painful ones, which sometimes can go a little bit further up the scale, but that just depends where you put it. Number 2 is John Locke feels. Yes, I've given it its own bit on the scale, because John Locke feels can be worse or better, in my personal opinion, because John Locke is just, ugh. It's got this sort of thing about it where it's practically canon, but it's not canon, and we're confused, and we're just sitting here like, oh my god, why? It's a bit painful. John Locke feels can be a bit painful. Number 3, Winchester feels. Now, I don't mean this in the pairing type way, god no, I'm very much against Wincest. I'm a Destiel fan myself, but more like when this happens every series, the brothers finally feel like they're in a good place, and then suddenly something happens with Dean or Sam, and the other starts hating them again, and you're just sitting there like, oh my god, why can't you guys just get along? Usually, I end up going, Dean, stop being a douchebag! And it really kind of hurts, but yeah, that's yeah. I'm gonna reiterate again. I am completely against Wincest. It's, ugh. They're brothers. Stop putting them together. Number 4. That lovely position falls to the ending of Merlin, the final episode, series 5 of Merlin, and we all died inside when we realised that Merlin had technically been cancelled. Even though it was only planning 5 series, it was planning a movie. You gotta remember this. The Merlin creators were originally planning a movie. So, when it ended, I was sitting there in tears, confused, because you usually expect everything to be fine at the end, and everything was not fine. So that hurt me, and anybody ever mentions the Merlin ending, I will usually just stare at them like this. Number 5 falls to Supernatural Series 1 in general. Now, I'm not mentioning any of the other series, because every other series have so many more feels it's painful. But Series 1 has its own little segment, because that's when you first enter Supernatural, and you think, oh, it's going to be a good little romping thing about 2 brothers hunting evil, and oh, it's all going to be fun. It's going to be a bit like Doctor Who, usually happy endings and stuff. No! No. Almost never ends happy for these brothers, like ever. Seriously, if you go into Supernatural thinking that everything's gonna be rosy, yeah, I feel for you, bro. I feel for you, because you got some pain coming. You got some pain and some tears, and you're gonna be sitting there thinking, oh my god, why? Number 6 is The Angels Take Manhattan from Doctor Who. Anybody ever mentions that to me and I just burst into tears. Oh my god. I mean, I personally, ever since Moffat took over Doctor Who, I sort of, my fan sort of rating of it has sort of dipped. I'll explain that in another video. I still love Doctor Who, and Moffat's really good at writing stuff, it's just I have problems with him. But The Angels Take Manhattan, holy crap. I once walked in to my ex-boyfriend's house, and he was watching The Angels Take Manhattan, and I was like, turn it off now. And he wouldn't turn it off, he did not turn it off, and I was sat there bawling my eyes out, and this was the end 5 minutes of the episode, because that's the bit that really hurts, and I was just like, oh my god. Why? Number 7 falls to probably the second saddest moment in Doctor Who for me, and that's Doomsday. Now I understand that a lot of people didn't like Rose, and therefore Doomsday doesn't affect them as much as it does some people, but Rose was my favourite companion. She was the companion that I came into the series on. I came into the series during Tennant's reign. In fact, I came in 2 episodes before Doomsday, and I was sitting there when Doomsday came on, just crying my eyes out. Even though I hadn't seen the rest of the series. I hadn't seen her with Eccleston, and I hadn't seen most of her with Tennant. And yet, I saw Doomsday, and I was just dying. I was sat there, and I was like, oh my god, why? But she... So yeah, that's why Doomsday gets number 7. Number 8 goes to a collection of things, which is known as the Supernatural Finales. Every finale, I swear to God, I was sat there and I was just in floods of tears at every single finale. I mean, I'm on series 8 now, and so far there hasn't been a finale that hasn't had me in floods. So, really hoping that this thing that they keep doing to me is gonna stop, but I know it's not. I know that when I get to the Series 8 finale, I'm gonna be here in floods again, and then when I get to the Series 9 finale, I'm gonna be here in floods again. Even more so for Series 9, because apparently, according to my friend, who apparently found it on Tumblr or something, Jared Padalecki burst into tears when he read the script for the Series 9 finale. Jared Padalecki. Holy crap. Number 9 goes to, and Doctor Who fans, you may wish to cover your ears, because this is probably going to break all of you. I don't want to go. It hurts me so much. I'm in so much pain just from saying that. I feel like my heart's just constricted in my chest. Ugh. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Some of the specials for David Tennant's final year were a bit iffy. I was not fond of the Waters of Mars. I thought that was god awful. That didn't do his character justice at all. The others were just a bit, but the end of time. Holy fuck! Why? That is the most painful way of ending the regeneration. Because we were sat there, and you think everything's gonna be fine, and then we just all died inside of that moment. But then he said that, and we were just like, oh my god, why? And then he said it in the 50th. He said it in the 50th anniversary, and Matt Smith's Doctor just sort of bats it off as, oh yeah, he always says that. What? That's not a bat off. Oh my god, why? So we're all writhing on the floor, and they just are oblivious. And number 10. Now, anybody who knows me knows what this is going to be, and anybody who's probably watched anything of mine probably knows what this is going to be. Reichenbach. Just Reichenbach in general. Just the Reichenbach Fall. The final episode of Sherlock Series 2. It doesn't matter that Series 3 has come out. I've said this before. It does not matter that Series 3 has come out. Reichenbach still gives me the biggest fucking truckload of feels I've ever felt in my life. I'm sitting there and somebody will mention Reichenbach to me, or I'll see a post on Facebook, and it'll just be like, and I would just die on the spot. I would just implode. I can't handle Reichenbach feels. It's so painful. I've probably watched the Reichenbach Fall about 10, maybe 20 times now. I still burst into tears. Even though you know that Sherlock is alive, it's not that hurts you. What hurts you is seeing John so broken, and Sherlock is there and he can't go to him. And then it's even worse, because in the empty hearse, you see how John didn't cope with that at all. How he hated the fact that Sherlock was dead, and he didn't believe it at first, and then he came to terms with it, and then he finds out that loads of other people knew that Sherlock was alive, and that just hurts you even more, because you're sat there and you're like, oh my god, John, why? Why? I'm calm. I'm calm. I'm okay. Now, that's my scale, but some things have gone beyond Reichenbach. I'm not even gonna lie, and Supernatural, I am glaring at you right now. Yes, I'm glaring. I'm not just looking at you, I'm glaring. Because you, Supernatural, oh my god. When I watch Supernatural, I'm usually texting throughout, teasing my friend about, oh my god, this hurts so much, and oh my god, this is amazing, and oh my god, this character, oh my god, that character, because she's like 2 series behind me now. But sometimes I will text her, especially after a finale. It's usually after a finale, and I will go, they Reichenbach'd me again. But when I say they Reichenbach'd me, I don't mean that they're on the level of 10. I mean they're on a higher level. So I've devised a small way of working out this level. Reichenbach times 4, or 3, or any number you want to put in. Get that number. So, okay. There's an episode in the middle of Series 7. Now, I said finales, but there are middle episodes that hurt. I mean, seriously. But there is an episode in Series 7 that was probably Reichenbach times 10. I'm not even joking. I was sitting there and I was dying. It was as if I'd just lost a family member. I was crying so much. I was crying tears of genuine. It was the type of tears that you cry at normal events that have happened to you personally. There are feels tears, and then there's real tears, if you understand my meaning. And this episode, I was crying so much that Reichenbach didn't even cover it. I was sat there and I felt like my world had been torn apart. So, yeah. That's kind of how it works as an algebraic thing. You times it by a certain number and you've got the number of the scale that you've got. So, say you wanted to indicate a certain thing, you'd probably say, I'd say Reichenbach plus Merlin's ending probably covers this. So that would be 14. So, you understand, there's 1 to 10. It's like when somebody asks you, how are you feeling today on a scale of 1 to 10? And you're feeling brilliant, so you say 11! It's like that, but kind of the opposite way. So anyway, now you know my scale of feels. What's yours? Do you want to let me know in the comments what your order of feels is? Because there's quite a few things I've missed off of there, because they're either too painful or they just sort of fit in between, and I had to choose between like 1 or 2 things to go on a certain number. So let me know what yours are in the comments, and I will see you next time.